Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, friends, family, and other random passers-by, for another episode of Fighting Fantasy Gamebook Playing, where we go and play Space Assassin for the third time. Now, the first time didn't last that long because I pushed the wrong button. The second time lasted quite a bit longer. And I got to a point where I got faced with a puzzle. And it's one of those puzzles that if you don't get it, if you don't see it, it seems really difficult. But once you've seen it, it's so easy. What the puzzle was a string of letters, and you were supposed to guess or rather deduce exactly what the next letter in the sequence would be. So it was O T T F F S S E. And I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. But of course, once when I was just working on my video now, I just looked at it and I thought, oh, well, of course, that's what it is. So now I know the answer. So if I get to the same puzzle today, I will know how to solve it. Anyway, I will not say anything more about it now until later if I get to it. Right, so here we are again. We are playing Space Assassin, and I'll just get my things ready on my desk in a moment. And yeah. Ta-da! Boom. Okay, there we are. Got my supplies ready, got my book, got my character sheet to be. Got my maps from last time, which are going to get rather confused, possibly, depending on where I go. But first of all, let's make our new character. So we have a skill, stamina, and luck, which is our usual abilities, but you also have armor. Instead of rations and a potion, you have pep pills. And you got 4 of them, and they each restore 5 stamina. And that's it, really. I have to roll for those. Oh, I've also got my pens are hiding here. Right, so I need to roll for my skill. 9, that's all right, I guess. Stamina, 10, plus 12, of course, 22. Luck, 11. Armor, 12. Useful. And that is our yes. In addition to that, we also have a starting amount of money to buy supplies for. And that is 1d6. I'll just roll that again now. 3. That's the same I just rolled. So that's 3 credits, as it were, to buy things with. So I'm going to buy an electric lash, which is a basic pistol, which does 2 points of damage every time it hits. And I'm going to buy, for the remaining 2, I'm going to buy 4 points of armor. It's half a credit for each point. So I've got 16 armor and an electric lash. There's also a carrying limit in this game, so weapons are exempt, but everything else you can carry a maximum of 5 items. Right, so I've also got some squash from having dinner, and I've also just made myself a cup of tea. Right, tea, Earl Grey, hot. Right. Not a little bit too hot. I like it to cool down a little bit before I drink. Okay. Let's get started. Go back into this book where we seem to be an assassin who hasn't done any research whatsoever on his mission apart from knowing where he's supposed to go. Anyway. Mission briefing. For some time, Cyrus, the tyrannical ruling scientist of Odd, the local sector, has been harassing your home planet with his warped minions, destructive robots and evil creatures almost certainly of mutant origin. His most usual crime has been to descend upon your planet and kidnap innocent victims upon whom it is reputed he practices his malign experiments and surgery. In any event, his victims are never seen again. Now, however, word has been received that he intends to use your entire world for one gruesome biological experiment, in which he will cover the surface of the planet with radioactive isotopes while showering deadly viruses upon all living creatures. Doesn't that sound like a conspiracy theory that some people believe is what's happening to Earth as well? Sort of the chemtrails and all that, of course. Anyway, the time is, and 5G, ooh, oh dear. The time has obviously come to stop him. To this end, the authorities have appealed to the Planetary Assassins Guild, which has selected you to penetrate into Cyrus's huge starship, the Vandervecken, capture him and bring him to justice. Right. So is he a tyrannical ruling scientist of a sector? Does that mean he's in charge of the sector and can do what he wants? Then he is the authority, and so what authorities is it that are appealing to? So that's so they are trying to to mutiny, I suppose, to have a coup in a way. Yeah. Oh well. So, armed with the latest and deadliest weapons, trained in 27 different schools of alien and human martial arts, protected by the best in sensomatic armored pressure suits, you set off searching for the Vandervecken throughout the local star systems and eventually catching up with it in a relatively isolated system some light years from your home world. That would have taken quite a while to find, wouldn't it? I mean, it would have taken years, probably. It seems to be in the process of refueling and taking on supplies. You decide that your best bet is to smuggle yourself on board the ship's supply shuttle and let that take you to the Vandervecken. Secreting yourself aboard the Vandervecken supply shuttle, you travel from the planet's surface to dock with the main ship. As the shuttle approaches the enormous spacecraft, you clamber into an emergency escape airlock and await the sounds of contact. You check your spacesuit and weapons, then rest your hand upon the door release, its hair trigger mechanism ready to snap down and hurl you into the void. In your headset, you can hear the ship's computer counting off the seconds until contact. When it reaches 0, you pull the door release and fly out low over the Vandervecken's silver hull, while behind you the shuttle rests like a tiny dart beside the bloated ovoid of its mothership. As you skim a few meters over the hull, you notice a small iris airlock, your target, ahead of you, protruding slightly like a black disc. Throwing out a magnetic clamp, you bring yourself to a halt. Floating lazily over the airlock, your shadow cast starkly in front of you. After a few deft movements on the airlock mechanism, the iris dilates. You step inside, seal the entrance, and fill the airlock with air. You are in the Vandervecken. Stepping out of the airlock, you find yourself at the end of a short corridor which is blocked in front by an impassable security door. Each wall has a small maintenance hatch across which the legend "Caution" is boldly stenciled. On the steel floor by the security door is a small pile of what seems to be organic refuse. If you have a gravity bomb, you could use it to blast your way through the security door. Otherwise, you could examine the left or right maintenance hatch or take a look through the pile of refuse. I'm going to look at the pile of refuse. I still don't know if that is going to be useful later, but there is an item to pick up. So the pile of refuse, on closer examination, turns out to be the body of a tiny hunchbacked alien critter. Rags that were once clothes wrap its skin, and its 6 bony limbs lie tangled beneath it. A trail of blood indicates that it must have crawled out of the right-hand maintenance hatch. Rolling the creature over, you notice that it has an electronic device clasped in one hand. Its finger is on the button, and bright wires lead up the arm and disappear into the remnants of a sleeve. Will you remove this device from the body or leave it alone? I'm going to remove it from the body. The device is a small black square with a large red button set into it. The wires leading from it attach to a portable power source. Nothing happens when you press the button, and as you can see several other places where some other widget is meant to plug in, you deduce that the device is incomplete. You put it in your pack. So I've got electronic device. Let's just call it that. Leaving the alien, will you examine the left maintenance hatch or the right? Now, the left one is, as I can recall, a kind of trap, so I have to go to the right one anyway. So I'm going to the right one. This hatch opens easily to reveal a long, dark access tunnel crammed with conduits and aluminium lattice work cutting through the ship. Climb into it and work your way slowly forwards, coming eventually to another maintenance hatch through which you can hear a muffled gurgling voice. The tunnel leads on into the darkness. Will you open the hatch or continue down the tunnel? I'm going to open that hatch, because that's where I can get an assault weapon. The hatch leads into a small lockup occupied by a faceless humanoid robot armed with an assault blaster and guarding 2 cells. The gurgling voice you heard is emanating from the first of these. The robot does not seem to have noticed your intrusion. Will you ignore the room and continue up the tunnel, or attempt to destroy the robot? Alternatively, you could attract the robot's attention and try to engage it in a conversation concerning what it is guarding. I'm going to just attack it right away, because that is what happens anyway if you try to do anything else. As you have the hatch for cover, you may lob a grenade in at the machine. But I don't have that, so I'm going to fight the guard robot. So he is got I've got 922. He's got 7-6. Right, so the way fire combat works, of course, is that you each roll against your skills to see if you hit. You're not fighting and parrying like you do in hand-to-hand combat. So he is going to try to roll 7 or less. He didn't. And I'm going to try to roll 9 or less. I didn't, so we both missed. Second round, he rolls a 4, I roll a 6, we both hit. And it doesn't actually say what kind of damage he does. Does it? Let's see, I'm just checking now if it actually says so. And this is actually not that good, is it? Because you would think it would specify. It says if your opponent has not got a specified weapon, it is an assault blaster which does 1 die of damage. So it doesn't say here what it has. It has an assault blaster, and but I roll against armor to see if I actually get damaged, and as long as it's more than 12, that won't happen. So my armor goes down to, probably should have armor instead of stamina here actually. So armor goes down to 15. Right, and I hit it for 1 die of damage. 1. Okay, and there's no using luck in battle here. So he rolls a 3, he hits. I roll a 6, I hit. So I go down 1 in armor again. He goes down. Oops, that's not right, is it? I've got 3 hit points left. He hits, I hit. So I go down 1 armor to 13. And I do 2 damage. This takes a while. Oh, I keep rolling for damage, but I've got an electric lash, which does 2 damage every time. I keep forgetting. So that means he went down to 4, down to 2, and then he is dead, actually. So that means I have an armor of 14. Sometimes, actually, the smaller weapon is better than the big one, because if you don't roll well, then... Okay. Yes, so if you have an electric lash, you do 2 damage every time you hit. If you have an assault weapon, you roll 1 die, which means you could actually do less damage, which doesn't make any sense. It should really be 1 die plus 1, or something like that. Anyway, because there's no way you can hit with an assault weapon and do less damage than with a handgun, surely. In any case, I defeat it, and I go to 264. The robot terminates. If you don't already possess one, you may add the machine's assault blaster. So I've now got an assault. That's a weapon. Assault blaster. So the lash does 2. This does 1d6. Like so. You climb into the room, the only sounds now being the crackle of small circuits popping in the robot's chest and the odd stifled cough from the first cell. Which cell will you look at first? The ones with the sound. I'm going to look at the one with the sounds. He has a potential clue. The cell is occupied by a battered old man with scars covering his arms and bandages and stitches the rest. He starts apprehensively when you open the cell door, but upon seeing the smoking remains of the robot through the narrow entrance, he brightens remarkably, telling you of his kidnap and torture by Cyrus, and giving you words of encouragement. It doesn't yield much useful information, though, but he knows a little about the pilot of the Van der Wecken. He is a canny machine, the pilot, the old fellow cackles. Worries about the strangest things. Mind if he asks you anything about thinking and feeling, say you don't know. That's the safest course. If you haven't already, you can look in the other cell. No, I'm not going to do that. Just get attacked if I do. Otherwise, you leave the room via the maintenance hatch and tunnel. Turn to 134. So, right. So now I've got an assault weapon, which is good. So I am here. I've done this. I've got the assault blaster, sound, continue. And so the next thing to do is a few meters down the tunnel you find another small hatch. Listening, you can hear nothing. The hatch just feels rather warm. You may continue along the access tunnel or open the hatch. And this is where I've always opened the hatch. And that seems to be the right way to do it. So I'm going to open that hatch. And that allows me to, it will allow me to get a key, which means I can get through the security doors. Through the hatch is a small room with several large steel conduits rising out of the floor and disappearing into the ceiling. It is from these conduits that the heat you could feel through the hatch emanates. Crossing the room, you come to a sliding door, which you open a fraction and peer through the gap. Before you is a large and, for aliens, fashionably furnished room. Odd couches and chairs. Tables at just the wrong heights and lights set to just this side of 2 blue. Seated, reading from electronic resource sheets, are 2 rodent-like Fosniks. Their white lab coats and tiny pince-nez, for their equally tiny eyes, betray them as being technical types. Would you enter the room and either threaten or attack these hench beings of Cyrus, or leave them alone? So I'm going to go in there and threaten them. Take them completely by surprise. They fall to the floor, raise their paws in supplication, and beg for mercy. We are but humble scientists, they squeak. Have mercy, don't kill us. You ask them where Cyrus is, but they claim ignorance, saying that they just work in the lab down the corridor. Here they indicate a security door behind a decorative screen, and that Cyrus seeks them out when he wants, not they him. You force them to strip and then tie them up. While they are stripping, you notice that each wears a small and narrow cylinder on a long chain around its neck. When you inquire what these devices are, they inform you that they are electronic keys to open the security doors on board the ship. Using these keys, will you proceed through the security door in this room, or will you return to the access tunnel? So now I've got a key. So key. Oops. I will go through the security door here. I know that works. May not be the best choice, but I'm going with what I've done before that I know works. So the door opens onto a long, well-lit corridor. After proceeding down this for 100 meters or so, you come across a sliding door on the left. While the corridor continues into the distance, will you open the corridor or keep following the corridor? So I'm going to open the door and go to 174 and see if there is more. Through the door is a small kitchen and dining area. Once again, everything is decorated in an alien style, designed to make human behavior difficult. I always take offense with that line because you don't design human environments for work to be difficult for aliens to use, or vice versa. You design them to be optimum for your own use. So it's not designed to make human behavior difficult. It's designed to make the alien behavior easy. Anyway, the food that is available on the Mealomatics is, without exception, unpalatable and raw. You do, however, find a couple of high-energy bars, which you may take with you. They count as a single item for pack purposes. When you decide to eat these, 5 points will be restored to your stamina. So I've got energy bars. +5. Leaving the kitchen, you return to the corridor and proceed along it. Turn to 229. The corridor ends in a circular room occupied by a squat, armless tripedal robot. This robot, which has a pair of electric lashes projecting from its chest, squawks as you approach. Halt! Inspection point. Will you attempt to bluff your way past the machine? Well, you're not very good at that, apparently. Or simply attack it. So I'm going to just attack it. Actually, for a highly trained assassin, you're rubbish at trying to bluff your way past anything. A bit disappointed at that. Right. In the fight, the robot will fire twice per combat round, each hit doing 2 points of damage to your stamina. So I am currently at 9. I've got an armor of 14. He has got a skill of 7 and a stamina of 6. And need my dice there. So I will roll first, I suppose. May as well. So I hit him for 1 damage. Now I'm using my assault blaster. He rolls a 9, he misses. He rolls a 9, he misses. I roll a 4, so I hit, and I hit him for 2 damage. He rolls a 7, he hits. He rolls a 10, he misses. So he does 2 damage to me, but that means 1 down on my armor. I rolled a 3. I hit him for 2 points of damage. He rolls a 7. He hits. He rolls a 9. He misses. So my armor is down to 12. Now so we have to start rolling for armor. Rolling for armor is like rolling for luck. You have to get equal to or below, and then if you do, then you don't take any damage, but the armor goes down either way. I'll get to that when I get to that. Okay, so next round I roll an 8, so he is dead. I think I'm supposed to finish the round. I'll just double check now. He doesn't actually get a chance to shoot back. I shoot first, so Yeah, so that I think I made a mistake with that last time as well. I'm supposed to shoot first, and if my opponent is dead, he doesn't get a chance to shoot back. So that means he is now dead. Right. And my armor is down to 12. And I go to 247. The robot falls over sideways, thick black smoke pouring from its shell. The room has 2 exits, a security door in front on the opposite side of the corridor entrance and another to the side. Will you inspect the remains of the robot or go through either the door in front or the door to the side? I will inspect the remains of the robot because there is a trap there that I can disarm. The robot is a useless hulk, but directly underneath where it was standing you see a floor safe, its button-covered dial previously hidden by the robot's feet. Looking closer, you see there are 3 different colored buttons to press to open it: blue, green, and red. Intrigued, you decide to open it. Which color button will you press first? Blue, green, or red? And I'm going to press red first. That certainly worked last time. The button depresses, making the safe's dial pulsate with a fluorescent white light. Which button will you press next, blue or green? I'm going to press green, I believe. The second button depresses safely. When you press the third, the dial pops free of the floor, revealing the contents of the safe. Well, not really a safe, but a booby trap. For there, sunk into the floor, is a gravity bomb, which would have been set off had you pressed the wrong sequence of buttons. So now I've got a gravity bomb. It is now safe to handle those, so you may add it to your weapons list. So gravity bomb. What a gravity bomb does, it's like a little black hole that has a radius of, just everything within a radius of 10 feet or something just goes completely, disappears into nothing. Which is not how black holes work, but there you go. Which exit from the room will you take? The door in front or the door to the side? Now, last time I went to the side. And there's something there where I can get some stuff. And then you get to the door in front afterwards. Right, let's go to the door to the side. The door slides to the side to expose a large laboratory. You don't have time to take in details, however, as a tiny silver sphere descends from a niche in the roof and hits you with a laser blast. Lose 1 armor point. Okay, I forgot to put that on here. Armor -1. You will have to fight it, and it's a laser globe with a skill of 9 and a stamina of 1. So basically 1 hit and it is gone. So I just need to hit it now. And I hit it, and that is it gone. And I can go to paragraph 4. After just 1 hit, the globe goes out of control and spins wildly around the room before disintegrating against one of the walls. Looking around, it becomes apparent that this laboratory is used primarily for biological research. There are the usual instruments of vivisection, electronic monitoring devices, and, of course, water tanks and cages for, respectively, amphibious and terrestrial victims. You find a number of items that may be of some use: a very light can of aerosol labeled nerve gas, a packet of 3 tablets unlabeled, and a rather huge dead but fresh crab. Bearing in mind that you do not wish to become overladen, you may take any 2 of these items. So I'm going to take the tablets. And there's a pack of 3, it says. So 3. I think they're pep pills, basically. So that means more stamina. And I suppose nerve gas or crab? Nerve gas. I'll go with the nerve gas. I found use for both the nerve gas and the crab later, but I'm not sure how essential they are to get, really. Anyway, so if you want to try one of the tablets, turn to 42. I'm not going to try them now. Would I have to try them to figure out what they are? Because I did, yeah. I mean, I know what they are now. I suppose I would have to take one to realize what they are. So I'm going to have 2 left, and they give me. When I take them, they give me stamina plus 5. I'm just going to do that now. The tablet produces a momentary lightheadedness followed by a sensation of returning energy. Restore 5 points to your stamina. You now have 2 tablets left, which you may take at any time to restore per tablet 5 points to your stamina. Leaving the lab via the door you entered by, you proceed through the other security door at the inspection point. Turn to 80. So we are now going to there, and to 80. The door opens onto a long, light corridor. Following it, you eventually see another security door on your left. Will you open this? Turn to 137. Or continue down the corridor. Turn to 398. So I'm going to open that and go to 137. The door opens to reveal a comfortable-looking room whose walls are completely lined with ancient bound books, microfilms, electronic resource sheets, and journals. On a table in the center of the room, you find 3 microfilm volumes that have been left out, presumably for someone to read. One is on the nervous systems of mollusks, the second is about neurotoxins, and the third is an article on robotics. They're all possibly relevant, but you have only time to peruse one of them. Which will it be? Now, last time I read about neurotoxins, I've only encountered an option to use my information on mollusks, and that did not seem essential. So this time I'm going to do the one on robotics. So I'm going to read about robotics. Right. Having completed this, you return to the corridor and proceed along it. Turn to 398. Okay, there we are. The corridor continues for a very long while and still stretches into the distance when you come across another security door on the side. This one is stenciled cephalo squirrels. Handle with care. When you enter this room, turn to 230. Or continue down the corridor. Now, I did go in there last time and I didn't seem to get anything out of it, and I wasn't sure if I should proceed to do something. It seemed a bit risky, so I'm going to continue down the corridor and go to 118 because it was a little bit like a scene from Willy Wonka. Right, so the corridor after another 100 meters comes to a dead end. On the wall responsible for sealing the passageway off are 2 large square buttons, side by side. Will you press the left one and the right one, or both together? Right, I tried both together and then I suddenly ended up on a planet inside a spaceship. I'm not sure if that's the best thing to do. It seemed like the only thing you were doing on that planet was to get off it again. This time I'm going to press the left one. Or the right one. No, I'm going to press the right one. The wall vanishes to reveal a wide corridor occupied by 3 rather odd creatures arrayed with a variety of domestic cleaning apparatus. The tallest one, having what look like carrots for ears, nose, and cranium, is busy cleaning the lights in the corridor with a long hydrovac, while the 2 shorter creatures, looking like extremely fat bipedal felines with backpacks. Yeah, that's quite a description. Hang on, I just need to get my thing up on the big screen there so I can see what I'm doing. So yeah, you got these. That's quite a charming picture there. Are vacuuming the floor. They stop when they see you. Looks like an intruder, fellas, says a tall one. Yep, sure does, answers the others. Yeah, clever dialogue here. They advance towards you, threatening with suction tubes. Excitement, cries one. Adventure, yells another. Charge, screams the last. That is funny. With that, they attack you, vacuum cleaners sucking, hydrovac spewing vapor and steam. You engage them in hand-to-hand combat. Now, it seems a bit weird now because they're actually attacking me with hoovers, basically, and they wouldn't really do any damage, would they? Anyway, so hand-to-hand combat, and it doesn't say I fight them one at a time. Also, armor doesn't really apply in hand-to-hand, does it? No. Okay. It says if you're fighting more than one opponent, you fight them one at a time. So in hand-to-hand combat in this book, it's always one at a time. Okay, that is good to know. So I've got 9, 22. And the cleaners have 8, 6, 9, 4, and 7, 4. And this is good old-fashioned fighting fantasy rules. I've got 1 skill advantage. My opponent rolls a 7, I roll a 5. So I'm down to 20. 6 and 9. He is down to 4. 8 and 6. I'm down to 18. 6 and 8. He's down to 2. 6 and 6. He's dead. So that's the first one gone. The second one has exactly the same skill as me, so that's not as easy. He rolls. Why can I just shoot them? Anyway. He rolls a 9. I roll an 11. He's down to 2. He rolls a 9. I roll an 11, and he is dead. Last one, I've got 2 skill points advantage. He rolls a 9. I roll an 8, so that is me hitting him. He rolls a 10, and I roll an 8, which is a draw. He rolls a 9. I roll a 12, and he is also dead. So there we are. That's me having cleaned up a little bit. And I win, and I go to 290. Okay, so where am I now? I went with the right one there. So now it is 8, 6, 9, 4, 7, 4. And 290. Having vanquished, oh, yeah, that word is overused in this book. Could have gone with beat, defeated, annihilated, destroyed, killed. No, it's always vanquished. Anyway, the writer of this book's favorite word apparently is vanquished, just like Steve Jackson's is to nip off. Anyway. Having vanquished the cleaners, you proceed down the corridor but reach its end in very short time. The corridor terminates in the side of an enormous tunnel of at least 20 meters diameter, which disappears into darkness to the left and right. There are no lights in it, and the only detail to be seen is a short landing which extends from the end of the corridor into the center of the tunnel. The corridor has no doors leading from it other than one small maintenance hatch close to the tunnel end. Will you examine the hatch or the landing in the tunnel? Okay. I'll examine the hatch. Examining the hatch is not the same as deciding to go down it, but apparently behind the hatch is a dark and cramped access tunnel winding into the bowels of the Vandervecken. You crawl into it and along it, twisting, clambering, and losing all sense of direction in the gloom. So apparently it is the same as going down it anyway. Presently you come across another maintenance hatch in the side of the tunnel. Will you open this or continue down the tunnel? So, open hatch or continue down. I'm going to open that hatch. The hatch gives way into a small, hot, smelly room full of pipes and wiring. The most noticeable thing, though, is a tiny, emaciated, quadrupedal alien cowering in the furthest corner from you. Its 3 eyes roll as if in fear, and its innumerable joints knock. It certainly looks terrified of you, but who can tell the ways of aliens? Maybe it's a warning or a greeting. Will you greet the alien and try to talk with it, or assume it to be dangerous and either threaten it or kill it? Right. Greet, threaten, kill. I'll try to greet it. You put your gun aside and make cooing noises. Okay. The alien just looks at you, its joints still knocking. You try speaking to it in a friendly manner, and after a while it seems to calm down a bit. It starts muttering a few words about how it is hurt, so it can speak. When you ask how it got hurt, it shrieks out, "The nasty, nasty black blobs, they did it." And here it shows you one of its legs, which you notice is badly burnt and torn. The alien then resumes its terrified shivering, and no matter how you soothe it, it does not speak again. We go back to the tunnel, turn to 163. Okay. The tunnel continues for a very long time before coming to a dead end. There, at your feet in the floor, is another hatch which you open and drop through. Turn to 201. You are in a very large room with a rather peculiar floor space. Half of it is taken up by a pool of water. Hang on, I've been here before. Have I not? 201. I'm sure I've seen that description before. Or maybe not. Maybe there was another room with exactly the same description, or it's the same room, but having approached it from a different side, I get a different paragraph number. I'll find out when I get further on. Half of it is taken up by a pool of water running the entire length of the room. At the other end of the dry space, which also runs the length of the room, you can see a door. Will you investigate the pool or the door? No, I haven't been here before. Have I? Oh, hang on. 309. Yes. That is where it is. So, is there a 237 here anywhere? Well, this is a pool from which I emerged after being down on that strange planet, it seems like. Anyway, I'm going to move this up to the next page, like so. And then 309 is an option. That's a door. Or examine the pool. 2, 3, 7. Now, I'm not going to examine the pool. I'm going to just go for the door. So now I've just bypassed that whole wandering around aimlessly on that planet, which was really tedious bit that I did last time. Behind the door is a path floating in mid-air at a precipitous height over a wide and distant countryside. It must be miles below you, yet it is still within the Vandervecken. The path, looking tenuous and unreassuring, flies arrows straight into the distance. You head across it, eventually arriving at a T-junction. The path splits and flies off in 2 new directions, neither offering a visible end to the possibility of a fatal drop. Will you follow the path left or right? Now, if you go right, you get to some bits where you might be able to pick up some item. I'm not sure if that is essential or not. But then again, I only got that because I had the crab, so I'm sort of doubtful whether I'll be able to get that now anyway. I'm just going to go left this time. 345. The path flies straight for a long while before ending in another T-junction. Looking down, you can still see the alien countryside, while to the left and right the paths hang in the air, precipitous and unending again. Which way will you turn, left or right? And last time I turned left, that seemed to be okay. So I'm going to go left, turn to 70. Actually, before I do, I think I just want to eat something just to get my stamina back to 22. So I'm going to do the energy bars and get back to 22. Right. You make good time. The path curves for a bit and then ends in a massive grey wall, which seems to extend down towards the alien countryside. Going through the door at the end of the path, you find yourself in what is obviously a security nexus. 2 dome-headed guards dressed in black with matching leather straps, boots and holsters are seated at a wide console engrossed in a direct telecast from Epsilon Indy of 0G Fangball, which is showing on all 10 security monitors in the room. This is where I needed the nerve gas, isn't it? The guards leap to their collective feet when they see you, shine the tops of their scalps and take up assertive postures. Who are you? They ask suspiciously. Will you fight them, attempt to bluff them into thinking you are part of the ship's crew, or look into your pack for some other means of overcoming this obstacle? Because that's what you have time for, isn't it? When somebody jumps to their feet and are ready to shoot you, you sort of, just hold on a moment, I'll just have a look through my pack. Right, it's been almost an hour. The tea is not hot anymore, but it's still very nice. Right, I'm going to look into my pack and see what I've got. If you have any of the items below, choose which one you will use and turn to the appropriate page. So there's aerosol can of nerve gas, deck of cards, container of ball bearings, a pan-dimensional homing device. I'm going to use the nerve gas again because that seemed to work rather well. So that is 275. You spray the gas into the room, roll 1 die and subtract the result from each of the staminas of the guards. So they got staminas of 4 each, so I'll just do both die at the same time. And they both die at the same time. Okay. Use up the entire contents of the can, cross it off your equipment list. So my nerve gas is now gone as well, but they're both dead. If the guards are still alive, you will have to fight them, otherwise turn to 203. So I'm turning to 203. The guards are vanquished, of course, but a red light is flashing on the video controls. Perhaps somebody or something has been alerted. You had better hurry. The room has 2 other exits. One is the security door and the other is the simple manual sliding door. If you don't already have one, you may take an assault blaster from one of the guards. Which door will you go through, the security door or the sliding door? Now, the sliding door was a pantry with some things you can eat. I don't think I'll do that. I'm going to go through the security door. So 109. I'm actually getting quite close to where I left off last time, or where I ended my game last time. The exit leads you down a corridor and into a wide circular room whose floor space is almost completely taken up by a deep, still pool. The only areas not covered with water are a path leading around the edge of the room and a very narrow bridge without handrails which passes over the middle of the pool. Both of these lead from where you stand to another opening on the other side of the room. Will you cross the room by taking the bridge? That seemed alright last time, so I'm going to go with the bridge. You cross the bridge easily, the lack of a handrail being only mildly disconcerting. You go through the other exits. Turn to 373. Through the opening is a chamber occupied by a brutish-looking extraterrestrial draped in large sheets of armor plate and toting a whopping great disintegrator aimed at you. In the wall behind this unfriendly being are 3 large circular doors. Stop, it says, peering at you with a pair of close-set beady eyes. To pass, you must answer my question, if you think you are intelligent enough. Will you attempt to answer the creature's as yet unasked question? Look into your pack for some other means of passing it, or forget about niceties and just blast it. I'm going to let it ask the question because I'm prepared now. Because I know what the answer is, I think. What is the question, you ask? This, answers the alien. What is the next letter in the following sequence? OTTFFSSE. When you have decided what the next letter in the sequence should be, determine the number of that letter. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. Multiply that number by 10. A equals 10, B equals 20, etc. And that is the number you should turn to. If the page you turn to doesn't make any sense in context, then you have obviously made a mistake and are destroyed by the creature's disintegrator. So, do or die, indeed. So last time I was trying to figure out whether the numbers of the letters had anything to do, and there was and I sort of made sense of it in a way that it could actually have been E. But I looked at it, I was making the video and I was just uploading it, and I looked at it for a few seconds and thought, oh yeah, well, it's obvious, isn't it? So it is the first letters of the numbers. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the next one is 9, which is the letter N, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A, I, J, K, L, M, N. So 140 should be the number. So I'm going to go to 140 on the letter N. Right. The answer is, of course, the letter N. Correct, says the extraterrestrial. You may pass. Which door will you go through? The right, the center, or left? And that is, of course, a completely different choice, and one I haven't had to make before. They're all round doors. It could be either. I wonder if I pick the wrong one, it's going to tell me, so I can choose one of the others, because that would make it a lot easier. 381, so it is, oh no, I did it the wrong way around now. 381 there and 34 there, so that is left, center, and right. Right, left door, center door, 14. I'm going to go through the center. After a short walk down a corridor, you find yourself in a room occupied solely by 70 or 80 floating black spheres, so black that they look like holes in the air. They drift about the room in a lazy circular motion, touching nothing. On the other side of the room, through the spheres, you can see a door. If you have the pan-dimensional homing device, you can use it if you want. Otherwise, will you ignore the spheres and walk straight out through the middle of the room to the other side? Try to reach the other side by dodging past the spheres. Go back to the room you just came from and take the left door, or get back and take the right door. So, really there are just two options plus going back. So I'm going to move those options up there. And it is 382 straight or 90 dodge. I'm going to check out the other doors. I'm going to go with the left one now. That's the one I was thinking of first, actually. You go through the door and into a dark, cluttered room. All sorts of monitoring equipment, crash couches, controls, and visuals are crammed into the tiny amount of available space. So you have a spaceship that is literally miles and miles and miles long, big enough actually for an alien planet to be inside. So we're talking hundreds of miles probably. And you have a tiny little room for a control room. Go figure. Anyway, seating yourself in the most comfortable looking of the 8 or 9 chairs present, you cast about for some purpose to all this. Suddenly the lights fail. Your chair sinks into the floor and a synthesized voice starts up. Congratulations, you have selected the Let's Fight to the Finish scenario of the Street Fighting wargame. It's a sort of a computer simulation game. It's a gaming room. Anyway. You will be commanding an XM3 main battle assault vehicle armed with a 4000 bevawatt phaser, while your opponent will be using the lighter but faster US-11 tank destroyer armed with a 6000 bevawatt phaser. Good luck! The lights come back on. You are at the controls of an armored assault vehicle. Through the single visual scanner in the cockpit, which dangerously only allows you to see what is to the front of your vehicle and nothing to the side or rear, you can see a couple of blocks of flats. You will now have to learn a few rules of combat. Turn to the back of the book and you will see a map of the area in which you will be fighting and a score sheet for use with this scenario. Okay, so this is like a little game inside the game. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Right. So, game grid, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, score sheet. Right, so the vehicles. Instead of using your own armor or stamina in this battle, you will be using the shields of the vehicles. Your vehicle's defense level is 5 shields, while your opponent's is only 4. Okay. Okay. 5 and 4. Yeah, okay. Note the sections set aside on the score sheet for scoring. Hits against each other. The numbers are there to cross off as hits are given or received. Excuse me. Each hit received will reduce the number of... Our throat is getting a bit dry there. The numbers are there to cross off as hits are given or received. Each hit received will reduce the number of shields carried by 1. When the number of shields carried by a vehicle reaches 0... Oh, I'm losing my voice. I've been talking too much now. Okay. The numbers are there to cross off as hits are given or received. Each hit received will reduce the number of shields carried by 1. When the number of shields carried by a vehicle reaches 0, then that vehicle and its occupant are destroyed. When you fire at your opponent, roll 2 dice. If the result is less than your skill, you have hit your opponent. If the result is equal to or greater than your skill, then you have missed. Enemy fire, when it occurs, will be explained during the battle. Status. Status is used to move your opponent's vehicle around the battlefield. During the course of the battle, you will be instructed to change your status and to check it against certain values provided. It is essential that you follow all instructions regarding it. Its value progresses from 1 to 16. If your status reaches 17, then reduce it to 1. Every time you move your vehicle to a new location or turn on the same spot, you must add 1 to your status. There are continual reminders at each location to do this, so you shouldn't forget. If you use the score sheet, you should easily be able to keep track of your status. Your status now, just before starting, is 0. I think I'll just do a new page for this. Make a note. So status 0. Okay. And shields 5 versus shields 4. Okay. If you score it, you should easily be able to keep track of your status. Your status now, just before starting, is 0. Okay, that's fine. And all future additions for easy reference. Yeah, they should all become a lot clearer once you begin. Moving. It is absolutely essential to use the map to keep track of your location on the battlefield, as reference to movement is given in terms of the points on the map. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, so we've got 9 possible locations. Your vehicle must continually move. You cannot sit in one location and wait for your opponent to appear. Okay, turn to 223. If you have just turned to this location, add 1 to your status. Your vehicle is at point A, facing east. Okay, so let's just draw this up, I suppose. So, do like so. So point A facing east, so I am here. So I'll just put in the, so it's A, C, D, F, so B, E, C, D, F, G, H. Okay. Okay. Right. If you want to move ahead to point B, turn to 331. If you want to turn on the spot to face south, if status equals 3 or 4, turn to 33. Right. So basically, I'm now just moving around randomly and hoping that I don't get shot and that I manage to shoot my opponent. I want to turn on the spot to face south. Now, how do I map this now? So I'll put I'm going to do this. So I am at 223. 223. And there are lots of options at 223. This is going to be very hard to map sort of properly, but I'm going to just make a note of where I'm going really. So I'm going to face south. I'm going to go to 349. So 349. Okay. So status 2. I am now here. Your vehicle is at point A facing south. After checking your status below, if you want to move ahead to point D, let's see. If status equals 3 or 4, no, it isn't. So I'm going to move ahead to point D. So I'll just put D there. So I'm going to move down here. Okay. So I'm going to go to 130. So turn south. So turn TS ahead to D. And that was 130. If you have just turned to this location, add 1 to your status. Yeah. Okay. 3. Your vehicle is at point D facing south. Okay. If status equals 8, 9, 66. Nope, none of those. Do I want to turn on the spot to face east? Okay, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go to 380. 80. Turn east. And add 1 to my status. 4. So I'm now here facing east at D. Let's see if status is 8, 6, 14, 15. No, it's none of those. So I want to move ahead to point E. Go to 386. And my status is now 5. Right, equals at point E facing east. Let's see. If status equals 6, 13, or 14, turn to 66. If it equals 5 or 12, turn to 188. Okay, so now something is happening finally. So I'm going to 188. A blast from the enemy vehicle's phaser smashes into your tank, stripping 1 shield from your defense level. So that's -1 shield. You can't be sure which direction the fire came from because you can't see to the rear or side, only forwards, and there's nothing in sight there. Add 1 to your status. Okay. Okay, so that was 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So know that on. I'm not seeing him there, so that means he's there, there, or there. Okay. Right, so now we're returning to 386, and now what this means, of course, is that my opponent is facing in my direction. He can't have come from there, because that's where I just came from. He wouldn't have had time to turn. Would have taken him, and also he would have shot me when I was there. So it means he's here or there. Most likely he started here. Maybe if he started there and then moved like so, and then moved like so, and then moved like so. That would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe. So most likely he is there. So what will he do next? He can go straight ahead and try to follow me. Right. If I turn on the spot, I'm going to turn on the spot now to face south. So I'm going to go to 22. 22 and face south. And then we go to 7. If you've just turned to this location at 1 to your status, E equals the point E facing south. If status equals 7 turned to 261. Okay, so now we have so go to 261. So my shields is down to 4, by the way. Yeah. The enemy vehicle appears in front of you. Ah, yes, I was right. He is down there. Exposing its more vulnerable armor. You fire without fear of it retaliating. Roll the dice as previously specified. Okay. What was the thing about the dice again? Am I rolling against skill? Was it? Let's see, 2, 2, 3. I'll just double check the beginning now. That is that's not where it was. The game started at 381. Right, so I had to roll against skill to see if I hit him. So my skill is 9. I rolled a 4, so I hit my opponent, and he loses his shield as well, presumably. He's down to 3. Okay. Now, the big question is, I don't know whether my opponent has turned to the left or to the right, though, which is a bit annoying, I guess. So I know that he was there on 5, certainly. Okay. 4, 3. Okay. Right. So 261. Then it's on the 3. Yep. Okay. Turn to 190. If you have destroyed your opponent, no. Add 1 to your status. Turn back to your previous location to select your move, but ignoring the directions to check your status. Okay. So I'm going to go back to 22 now. Right. So I'm at point E facing south. I know my opponent is here facing east or west. So, which means if I go down here, I can make a guess which direction. So I'm going to move ahead to point H, go to 265. Okay. Okay. If you have just turned to its location, add 1 to your status. Okay, so we're at 9. And I'm down here. So hang on, facing east. Did I have a choice of facing east or west? Ah, okay. I want to face west actually, so I'm going to go to 1. So that's not. I'm going to 193 is what I wanted to do. I didn't know I had to got an automatic turn there as well. So I'm actually down here and facing this way. Okay. I thought I was going to face south. Okay. 103. So I'm guessing he went over here now. Right, so if you have just turned to its location, add 1 to your status. Yeah, I've done that. Your vehicle is at point H facing west. So, okay, if your status equals 5, 6, 12, 13, or 16, no. Equals 8, no. That means that he is now here. Could have gone that quickly over there. It's because you lose, I don't know, that seems a bit strange for the timing, because you add, when you get to the events, you sort of add 1 turn, which is a bit weird, because then actually that doesn't actually make any sense, because now the location is actually going out of sync in a way because of the extra turn. Okay. Anyway, because if the locations are linked up to, if the events only happen when the locations match up, and you actually add status when something happens, the locations are going to get jumbled up, because then suddenly it's like walking 2 steps on 1 move. So that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but that means that he is no longer here. He would have been there the round before. And so he must be there. So I want to move ahead to point G and go to 73. Right. And then we go to 10. And if it equals 9 or 10, go to 123. Okay, so we've got 123. The enemy vehicle is in front of you. Okay, so does that mean I also turn the corner here automatically? I suppose. Okay. Exposing its more vulnerable armor. You fire without fear. Okay, so I am... and I miss. If you have destroyed your opponent, no. Now, otherwise, the other tank takes a right turn 2 blocks ahead and disappears from sight. So he is now here. Okay. I really should have some sort of tokens or something to show where he's going, but I don't have anything I can think of right now. Anyway, so he is there and turning around the corner there. I am there. Add 1 to your status. Okay. So he's going to go over there and possibly turn down there. I'll start by going over there anyway and see what I do. So I'm going to move to if we want to move ahead to point D, go to 374. Okay, so I'm going to go to 374 now. Okay. One to status. Okay. The big question is he going to turn down there, or is he going to... but if he turns down there, he would have to turn back or go ahead. So if I turn and spend 1 round turning, I would be able to shoot him. If he's on that corner, I will not be able to shoot him, but then I can turn up there maybe, or keep going. Yes, so I will turn east, 380. 380. Right, and then we are on 13. So I'm here facing east. He is... I'm on 13, yeah. And we get the status of 13, and I go to 161. The enemy vehicle appears in front of you. Okay, so that was a good guess again. He is now there. And I have to roll again, and I roll 7, so I hit him this time. He's down to 2. Otherwise, the other tank drives away from you but remains in sight 2 blocks ahead. Okay. Remains in sight. Doesn't mean that he's not driving away. Doesn't mean he's turning around. In which case, I can just go straight ahead and we'll meet in the middle. So I'm going to move ahead to point E, go to 386. 386. And then we are at 15. And on 386 it says if it equals 15, turn to 261. So the enemy vehicle appears in front of you. So I'm going to roll to hit and I roll a 6, and he's down to 1 shield. Otherwise, the other tank takes a right turn 1 block ahead and disappears from sight. Okay. Can that be right? Was it just sort of waiting there, or was it turning around? Or I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. This doesn't quite sync up, this one, but that means he's probably on the way down here, because this is the almost end of the cycle, and of course he's going to start down here and then go around there again. So I'm not sure if he's going to turn around there or not. But maybe I only need to hit him 1 more time, but he only needs to hit me 4. So if I go around the block here and meet him when he's on the way up here, maybe that is my safest bet. Okay, so I think I missed some number here. Anyway, so I'm going back to 386. So I want to turn. Let's see, or I can move. Turn on the spot to face north. So I'm going to go to 82. And then I want to move to B and turn west, so that's 167. Status is now 16. Okay, and then I'm going to 167. Then we are going to back to status 1. And of course now he should be down here. So I want to go, I'm here. I want to go west now. I'm going to go down over to A. I'm going to 349. So that's on 1 there. Also 1, 2. Okay, 349. And then we are at, I'll just on 2 there. I'll just do like so. So I want to move ahead to point D. Go to 130. And that is status 3. So now I'm here on 3. That's the same as I was last time on 3. So I want to go around. If I now go around the corner here, I should be able to hit him. So I'm going to go to point G next, and that is 355. There's no status updates there. So I go to 355. And I go to accept. It doesn't seem like he's there. Okay. So something about this is not quite right, but I've almost don't know where he's supposed to be now. I suppose I'll just go straight ahead in that case. 265. Okay. And now I've got a status at 188. And he hits me. Okay. So something about this is a little bit off, obviously. So let's see, 3. That's the one to status. Okay. I'm gonna go to I. 241. Then I'm going to point F, go to 110. Did I move my marker there? I don't think I did. So 7. Okay, so I'm at F. He should be. Okay. I'm going to go turn on the spot to face west. 391. Uh, 8. He'll now be here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead to E, 216. I'm here again now. Oh, if it equals 9, turn to 261. Okay, so I've got a shot there. Okay, so I've got him in front of me again. And I rolled 2, which means I hit him, and finally he is gone. And yeah, the way the status thing works, it sort of means it's much harder to predict where the other one is, because every time you're hit or you're hitting someone, you actually add a status. Otherwise, you're not adding until you move, and so you actually move a little bit differently every time. But right. If you have destroyed your opponent, turn to 190 now. Okay, now this was a really weird meta game in there. The lights in your tank go out and you feel your chair rising. Hatches open overhead and then shut below you as you pass upwards. Suddenly you are in freefall, in a weightless environment. The chair left behind. You roll over and over, all sense of direction lost. A pinprick of light becomes apparent, growing by the second until, with a rush, it is around and past you. The journey has taken you into a long, light, zero-gravity transit tunnel. Generally pretty fast and safe travel, but in your case, as a tunnel up ahead is occupied by a man-eating toroid, just fast, all too fast. The toroid looks pretty much like an enormous eyeless donut with innumerable fangs set in its inner circle. An inner circle or mouth that you are flying towards at great speed. That's a horrible writing there. Sorry. If you have a gravity bomb, you could send this down before you into the beast's maw. Well, as luck would have it, I do have a gravity bomb. I'm going to use that and go to feet. Okay, so first I'll just have to find my bearings now. So we were at here, 391, and then a squiggly line, 190, and then we have 52 or 165. So shoot or gravity bomb. So I'm going to gravity bomb that thing. The gravity bomb flies into the toroid's mouth and explodes, or rather collapses, into a temporary but infinite gravity field, taking the monster with it. Turn to 332. Okay. It's really weird being inside that video game thing now. Oh. There's another game. The tunnel continues forward for a few hundred meters before ending at a landing. Lighting here, you find yourself at an opening into a room whose floor is covered by 20 very large and very odd tiles set out and decorated in the fashion illustrated on the opposite page. Barring the numbers, which, as you will see, are superimposed for reference only, you are standing on one side, while on the other side of the room there is a door which presents the only way forward. You know these tiles to be remarkable due to a small message which is engraved into the floor at your feet. Step on the wrong tile and it's goodbye. Which tiles will you step on to reach the other side? When you have decided, add up all the numbers of the tiles you intend to step on and turn to the paragraph which equals that total. If the description on that page does not make sense, then you have been blasted into your constituent atoms and will have to start the adventure again. Note the numbers on the tiles have nothing to do with providing a solution to your problem. Okay, this is starting to get a little bit weird. I'm going to save my game now because I'm not going to do all this over again, I think, once I get to the end of this. So basically, there are several possible paths one could take here. Okay. Another little meta game. Okay, so we have 54. Let's just do the straight path is 54, 8, 12, 49, 61, 78, 12. And the right path 54, 17, 90, 38, 42, 16, 9, 12. Left path 54, 33, 6, 81, 15, 22, 12. So the combination paths 54, 33, 6, 81, 2, 49, 61, 78, 12. That just sounds like too much, doesn't it? 54. 8, 12, 49, 2, 81, 15, 22, 12. 54, 8, 8, 12, 49, 104, 16, 9, 12. Do you have to step on a whole line of things? Can you? I presume you have to step on a continuous set of tiles. It doesn't actually really say, does it? Right, so which ones did I do now? 54, 8, 12, 49, 104, 16, 9, 12. Okay. And so I did the straight path, so that's straight. Then it was the right, left, and then it is the path that goes like so. And then it is the path that goes like so. And it is the one that goes 4904 like so. That's that one. That one. That one. Which leaves, I need more space for this. Suppose we could conceive of a path that goes like that as well. That would be way too long, wouldn't it? Right, I need a calculator for this. Oh, let's see if I can find a calculator. So. I used to have one down here somewhere. No, it's not there. Right, I'll have to use my phone. Right, so we have 54 plus 12. But they all have 54 plus 12, don't they? So 66. Let's remove the first and last of all of them. So plus 20 plus so the straight path is 274. 17 plus 90. This game isn't very fun, actually. It's just wild guessing, isn't it? I mean, do we have any clues now, apart from the fact that some of these paths will actually add up to more than 400? 278. $223. Did I remember the 66 there? Nope, so 376. 66 plus 20 plus 49 plus 2 plus 81 plus 15 plus 22, 255, 66 plus 20 plus 49 plus 104 plus 16 plus 9, 264. And there are other options too. You know what? I'm not going to take too long trying to figure this out. I'm just going to check out some of these numbers, and if any of them are correct, I'll go with that, because I don't think this is game book fun for me. So let's see. So 2 through 3. No, 2, 5, 5. Okay. Right, found it on the second try. I'm happy with that. It's 255. It is the path that goes... oh, I lost my bearing now. 332. It is the path that goes up and around. So, $255. You stride boldly across the floor, stepping on your carefully selected tiles and reaching the other side in one piece. You go through the door. Turn to 131. The door opens into a long room occupied by two robot sentinels flanking the exit at the far end. As you enter, they open fire with a blaze of darting lasers. You duck back into the cover of the doorway and contemplate how to get past them. The two sentinels are heavily armored, saucer-shaped devices which float about a third of a meter above the floor and which will almost certainly put up very stiff resistance. Glancing back into the room for a moment, you notice that the ceiling is quite low and constructed in an open crisscross gantry design which runs the entire length of the room. If you have read the book on robotics, turn to 169. I have. So 36, no, and 169, yes. The book that you read earlier actually mentioned this type of robot. The knowledge you have thus gained will allow you to inflict 1 extra point of damage every time you hit one of the devices if you choose to fight them. Turn to 36. Will you engage the sentinels in a fight or jump for the hanging girders of the ceiling and, using them as cover, attempt to approach the exit at the other end of the room? Okay, 74 or 150. I'm just gonna fight them. Yeah. As you are quite a distance from the robots, you may throw a grenade. If you have one, they fire at you simultaneously. So we have 8, 9, and 8, 9. And 3, 5, 1 to defeat them. I do extra damage. So at the moment I'm at 9, 11, and my stamina is 22. And the robots are 8, 9, 8, 9. They fire at the same time. So first one hits, second one hits, I hit. So that means I have to roll for armor twice. I roll 5 and 10. So that is both. My armor is down to 9. And I roll for damage. I'm doing the first one first, I guess. And I can do 6 damage because I get 1 extra. So it's got 3 points left. I fire on the first one first there. I roll a 7 and I do 2 damage. It's got 1 left. They fire and first one misses, second one misses. I'm firing and I hit, and the first one is then dead automatically because, yeah, I do always do more than 1 damage. And the second one rolls 6 and hits me, and I test for armor, which is now 9, and I managed to get, I'll just do it there, to block the damage with my armor. Next round I roll a 9, so I'm hitting. I do 6 damage. The robot rolls 6 and hits me, and I roll 8 armor. I fail, which means I take 1d6 of damage, which is 2. I'm going to 20 and 7. Next round I hit and I do 5 damage, and the sentinel is dead. Right, getting used to the battle now. Oh, there's quite a battle on the other side here. Right, if you defeat them, turn to 351. Yep. That's +1 damage. Okay. The sentinels are smoking piles of debris, littering the floor with smashed and burning parts. You stride past them and through the exit. Turn to 369. 369. The opening leads into a narrow corridor which, after twisting and winding for a while, ends in a door. Going through this, you find yourself in what is obviously the ship's bridge. There are panoramic visuals, holographic plotters and maps, and scores of comlinks in front of you. Standing before a control panel with which it is connected by an umbilical cord is the ship's pilot, a stunningly wrought humanoid robot. Looks a bit like R2-D2. Its chromium limbs send reflections skittering across the walls as it turns to face you. Ah, you've arrived, it says, almost smiling. I've been quite looking forward to chatting with such an interesting person. Will you talk with the pilot or assume it's trying to get your guard down and attack it? Now, what was it I was told about the pilot? I was just going to ignore him, was it? I'm just going to go and have a look at what he said again, the guy in the cell. If he asks you anything about thinking or feeling, say you don't know. Okay, so I'm going to talk to him in that case, and if he gets onto thinking and feeling, I will say I don't know. So I'm going to talk to him. Come in, it urges amiably, waving you forward. Tell me, it continues, since you're a person who deals with life and death, consciousness and non-consciousness, do you think that it is possible that one of us is simply the creation of the other's mind? Do you think that you could be dreaming me or that I could be dreaming you? Yeah. What a question. Will you hazard an answer or tell the pilot that you really don't know? I'm going to say I really don't know, I suppose. Even though I do know the answer myself, because I've been told not to engage with it anymore. So I'm going to... it's a 170. Don't know or 132 answer. Okay. Oh, says the pilot, a little hurt at your reply. But it continues, if it were possible, and we assume just for the argument's sake that you are actually the conscious entity creating this world around you out of your own mind, do you think that I, a creation of yours, might be able to have conscious experiences without your conscious knowledge of such events? Could I be a sort of sub-self of you? Would you tell the robot that you don't know, or ignore the rather bizarre questioning and change the subject to something more useful, such as the whereabouts of Cyrus? So again, I will say that I don't know, I suppose. So don't know. So obviously is quite an epistemological robot, a different kind of logic to what you usually get in robots. It's a philosophical robot. I'm not rolling any dice. Why am I doing that? Okay. I don't know. I'm going to 37. Oh, says the disappointed pilot. Perhaps you're not really such an interesting person after all. Quite boring, actually. Sighs and turns away. I think you should leave now, it says. Turn to 75. Okay. Just out of curiosity, what happens if you actually say something else? Oh, I'm putting the arrows in the wrong place. I just have to check now what happens if you try to engage in this conversation. Actually, it seems that the best way to get the something sensible out of him is to actually engage him in conversation and not say you don't know, but actually agree with him. But yeah, there you go. The bridge has 3 doors leading from it. One is marked with a star, another with a crescent, and the third has the legend "computer" stenciled on it. Which will you go through? So 189 star, 208 crescent, or 113, sorry, computer. We'll go through the crescent door. The door opens into a spacious room. There are deep chairs, paintings, off-world rugs, bookshelves lined with vellum-covered volumes, and there in one of the chairs is Cyrus. He looks at you in a rather startled way. With nervous haste, he puts down the book he was reading and starts to his feet. Welcome, he begins. Can I offer you a drink? Would you accept his offer and chat with him a while before making the arrest, or would you move straight in for the kill and capture him immediately? Right. Now, it doesn't matter so much what I do now, in a way, because I don't think I want to play this book again, to be honest. So I'm going to, if I don't make it, I'm going to cheat a little bit just to finish the book. Sorry. You purists out there, you may want to stop watching right now, just in case. So 244 or 280. So a drink. I'm not going to accept a drink from someone who's doing experiments with viruses and stuff, so I'm going to go straight in for the arrest. Wait, wait, Cyrus cries, flailing his arms in the air as you close in. Give a man about to lose his freedom one last request, a moment of reprieve. You just look at him distrustfully. I'm a compulsive gambler, he tells you. Will you play just one hand of cards with me? Well, will you play, or just grab him and finish it now? Now, if you've got a deck of cards, I suppose that's where you can use it to cheat at that game, presumably. 2-2-6 play, or 2-6 to grab. No, I'm not going to play his game. As you lunge over towards him, he sidesteps and grabs a mechanical device from a coffee table. Stop, he cries, don't move. This device is a very complicated piece of machinery that I have been working on of late. It fires a guided armor-piercing dart. It never misses. Now, stand aside. Will you do as he says, or go for him regardless? Do as he says, or 370. Go. I'm going to go for him regardless. As you dive at him again, he throws the device in your face while scuttling nimbly to the other side of the room, where he gives a hanging picture a sharp twist. A small secret panel opens and Cyrus dives through. The panel shuts. You notice that the device that Cyrus threatened you with is nothing more than a clockwork mechanism from an ancient clock. Must be his hobby. You mutter to yourself as you twist the picture to open the secret panel. When it obliges, you dive through into a chute. After the scientist, turn to 171. Yeah. When you reach the end of this chute, you find yourself in a large hangar housing a small starship. Cyrus, anticipating your pursuit, has climbed into a Stevedore Waldo, an enormously powerful machine of roughly human proportions with regard to number of arms and legs, but mechanically magnifying the operator's movements to a terrifying degree. Cyrus, using the Waldo, has picked up an industrial laser with which to attack you. Will you fight him or look in your pack for another means of defeating him? Do I have any other means of defeating him? Nope. I don't have any other means, so that's let's see, 1, 5, 2. Because the other means I might have had, where the choices I had for is either, let's put those down there. It's either a cylinder of bearings, or a pan-dimensional homing device. So homing device. And then we have to go back to 95 anyway. So that is like so, 95. Don't have any of those. You fire at Cyrus's Waldo. Cyrus, skill 9, stamina 12. If you defeat him, turn to 400. Okay. So 400. And he's got skill 9, stamina 12, so 9, 12. No armor? No? Okay, it doesn't have armor. I should have had armor, shouldn't he? And I've got 9, 20. And my armor is 7. Okay. So, I attack first. I roll 7. I hit him for 4 points of damage. He's down to 8. He rolls 7. He hits me. I check for armor, which is now 7. I roll 3, so my armor is down to 6. I roll 3, so I hit him for 2 points of damage. He rolls 9, so he hits me for, and I roll for armor, which is 6, and I roll 5, so my armor is still working. I try to hit him. I roll a 9. That is a hit. I do 2 points of damage. He's down to 4. He tries to hit me. He rolls a 10 and misses. I roll a 10. I miss. He rolls an 8. He hits. I roll for my armor, which is 5. And I roll a 4. So that is still good. I roll a 6. I hit. I do 4 points of damage. And he is dead. And I go to 400. So I didn't have to cheat that much after all. You drag the unconscious Cyrus from the Waldo. Your mission is a complete success. Congratulations. Right. Right, that's that done. That's that out of the way. Right, I did enjoy it a little bit, but that's kind of my least favorite fighting fantasy game book so far, I think, by quite a long shot, because it's a little bit tedious, it's a little bit illogical sometimes, and the meta games, I mean, the meta game of just wandering aimlessly around on that planet, which is a huge chunk of the book, and the meta game of playing with the tanks, what's that about? I mean, there's very little sort of logical coherence to it, and it's just, yeah. So, and yeah, it's just, and that thing with the path across the floor as well. I mean, what's that about? And of course, without any clues, there are so many different possibilities that, well, you're just going to play it 5 or 6 times doing the same thing over and over again until you get to the same spot there and you try it again. That doesn't make any sense either. So I had to cheat a little bit, but not much. And I'm done with Space Assassin. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm looking forward rather to playing something else. And my next one, of course, is not Freeway Fighter, which is the next one, but the probably more entertaining Temple of Terror. Now, I'm actually quite looking forward to going back to a high fantasy setting after this piece of writing. Yeah, off with it. Right. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching it, even though it's not the greatest book. Still has its memorable moments, I guess. Maybe it's quite linear and a little bit sort of insta-deathy, and a little bit sort of feels a bit unfair. I mean, the thing about insta-death is that, I mean, it's all right if you push the wrong button and you die. Of course, you shouldn't have done that. It's a trap. But when you have a path across a room and you have to find the right one out of a, I don't know, I'm not sure how many possibilities there would be. There like 8 or 9 at least. And you're supposed to pick one out of those 9. And if you get it wrong, you die. Then that's just not fun anymore. And also that wandering around aimlessly on the planet like I did the last episode because I managed to go through that chute and fall down. Yeah, no. Right. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, join me on Patreon, all those things. And I'll see you next time with what is hopefully a book I will enjoy a lot more, which is Temple of Terror. So goodbye to Space Assassin. I don't want to see it again in a while. So yeah, but I do want to see you in a while. So I'll see you soon. Goodbye for now. Bye-bye.